Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about a bit of information that was revealed in the newly published book written by Paul Duncan. Now, Paul Duncan is apparently a close friend to George Lucas and has actually released several books going over the journey that Lucas has gone through with regards to the original and prequel trilogies. But before we get into today's video, remember to like and subscribe to forever be a Star Wars fan, and to stay up to date with all the latest Star Wars news, lore, rumors, and theories. Okay, so in this book, George Lucas talked about what he had originally planned or intended for his sequel trilogy to be about. We had heard before that it seemed like the plan for the sequel trilogy involved a girl named Kira, who was the inspiration for Rey, and it would be about her and Luke and the others exploring the Force more in depth. The sequels would have delved deeper into the philosophy of the Force and the Wills and the midichlorians, and basically a really meta set of movies. I personally think that I would have enjoyed seeing them, but I can see why Disney would want to avoid this at all costs. Mainly in part because of the backlash that Episode 1 received for introducing midichlorians and all of that. But according to Paul Duncan, Lucas's plan for the sequels wasn't at all what we thought it was. George Lucas wanted to focus more on the Skywalker legacy, and he would have made the sequels more of a generational story. They would have more been focused on the Skywalker children, with Leia taking the main focus as the lead character. It would have dealt with Luke and Leia trying to put the galaxy back together after the fall of the Empire, with Leia focused on rebuilding the Republic and Luke more focused on rebuilding the Jedi Order. It would have been a struggle, as the two would have found out that rebuilding a republic was harder than any war they've ever fought. There was also an idea that the remnants of the old empire would stick around, similar to the First Order, but they wouldn't form their own government or be as organized as we saw them in Disney's sequel trilogy. The plan was for them to be more like a terrorist group than an actual army, sowing fear and violence across the galaxy as they hopelessly fought to maintain a grip on their once glorious empire. It would have been interesting to see a more shattered version of the Empire than the polished and squeaky clean First Order. Kind of like how we saw them in the first season of The Mandalorian. Taking on the main villain role would have been Darth Maul. He would have returned and we would have seen the crime syndicate that he started in the Clone Wars take over the power vacuum that was in the galaxy after the fall of the Empire. There would be total chaos and crime would be skyrocketing as the galaxy became a more lawless and viler place. And Darth Maul would be on top of everything. Now, Maul would have taken on a new apprentice, Darth Talon, who would have served as his enforcer in the galaxy, very similar to how Darth Vader served Palpatine. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with Darth Talon, she was a red-skinned Sith twi'lek and was overall an awesome character before Disney came in and, made her legends. Darth Maul would have been very similar to a godfather role in the galaxy. He would have loved to see Palpatine's empire fall and used his influence in the galaxy's underworld to seize control afterwards. We got a glimpse of what this could look like in Solo: A Star Wars Story when we saw Maul make his appearance at the very end. Maul would still wield his lightsaber, of course, and he could still use the Force, but he was more of a crime lord than a Sith Lord at this point. Talon would be on his right hand, and she would be kind of his main sword and shield as she went through the galaxy enforcing his will. They obviously would be fighting very hard against the Skywalkers and their attempts to reestablish some sort of order to this anarchist reign. Leading the charge for the good guys would have been Leia. As I said before, Leia would take on the main Skywalker role for this sequel trilogy. We still would have seen Luke as he gathered and trained the next generation of the Jedi, and as he fought against Darth Maul and Talon, but Luke would have had a role similar to Obi-Wan's as kind of the wise and sage side character. Now, this is where things get interesting. According to Duncan, Lucas planned on making Leia the chosen one at the end of everything. He said that she would have been the chosen one in the end because while Anakin did destroy the Sith and the Jedi, it was Leia who was going to bring order and peace back to the galaxy after so much war and conflict. Leia would have been the leading general in the New Republic, and eventually following in her mother's footsteps, she would have gone into politics. Eventually she would reform the Republic and become the Supreme Chancellor. She would end all conflicts and start an unprecedented era of peace in the galaxy. I think it would have been cool to see Leia in this role. We kind of got a glimpse of this in Disney's sequel trilogy, but I just felt like it wasn't as well thought out or planned as this seems to be. Now, with regards to Leia being the chosen one, I don't know if George meant that she's actually the real chosen one, or if she would just be considered the chosen one in this sequel era. Perhaps different eras have different chosen ones. I know that time and time again, George has said that Anakin Skywalker is and forever will be the chosen one. He brought balance to the Force, and the Star Wars story is Anakin's story. Not to mention that people have thought for a long time that Luke is the chosen one, but still George, the creator, has always said that it's Anakin. So if George only hinted at Leia being the chosen one this one time, I don't think he meant it as that she would replace Anakin. Now, this is all speculation on my part because obviously I don't know what he meant. I wasn't there. I didn't talk to him. But to me, Anakin is and always will be the chosen one. Even though Disney kind of put that whole thing into question. Maybe I'll make a video about that one day. Who knows? But yes, Leia was going to play a huge role in the sequel trilogy and had the potential, according to George Lucas, to be the chosen one. Now, this trilogy does sound amazing. Personally, I would have liked to see this version more than the ones that Disney gave us, and it's not even for the reason that people may think. Star Wars is about the Skywalkers, and seeing Anakin in the prequels, Luke in the original trilogy, and then finally Leia in the sequels as the main character just made more sense to me from a storytelling point of view than having a nobody come out of nowhere Palpatine granddaughter clone unknown person Rey be the main character. Rey is not a Skywalker. She may take on the name, but it just would have made more sense for Leia to be the main focus. And they could have totally used Rey somewhere else. She could have been Luke's apprentice, or maybe even his daughter or something. Who knows, but they could have fit her in there some way and, still had her be a prominent role in the sequel trilogy. Also, who wouldn't want to see Darth Maul and Darth Talon tearing it up across the galaxy? Seeing Luke fight Maul, or even better, seeing Luke talk with Force Ghost Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon about Maul, would have tied the prequels right in with the sequels. And in the end, when Maul was defeated, because, it's Star Wars and the good guys always win, it would have wiped out the last remaining influence that Palpatine ever had on the galaxy, without needing to, bring him back. The Skywalker legacy and name would have been solidified, and we could see how Anakin Skywalker's children carried on and redeemed their father by bringing peace to the galaxy. The sequels would have more than likely ended with the Republic being restored and the Jedi Order finally coming back to Coruscant and being reborn under Grandmaster Luke. The story would have come full circle. Gosh dang it, now I'm all sad and disappointed again thinking about how epic this sequel trilogy could have been. But what's done is done. Star Wars is Star Wars, and I love all of it. Anyway, that's it for today's video. Let me know what you guys think. Does George Lucas' sequel trilogy sound better than the Disney version? Would you guys have liked to see Maul as the main villain? Let me know in the comments below. Also, remember to subscribe to stay up to date with everything Star Wars related. And remember to forever be a Star Wars fan.